Hola, hola.
Welcome back to Flynns on the Fly. Let us know what you think about our new logo.
We have a new logo?
No.
We probably need a new logo.
Today we're going to talk about Amazon $5 shipping. No. No, we're not. We're not.
I just never know what's going to come out of his mouth. But there's a lot of information out there about $5 flat rate Amazon shipping. We haven't tried it yet, though.
So check it out. So please check it out so people can stop making videos about it. Today, but seriously, we've been going for our driver's licenses here in Ecuador. And if you didn't know, you can buy a driver's license here in Ecuador and not have to do anything except give somebody money, and somehow you magically receive a official Ecuadorian driver's license. We're not here to endorse or take away from anybody that does that, but we're trying to take the actual test and not engage in the corruption as we see it in this country. So we've been back and forth. We've been using the same facilitator we use to get our visas here since we've been in Cotacachi, our permanent resident visa. And we have all the paperwork, we have all the things, all the requirements. We've been studying the test, which is in Spanish, so you do have to practice and you have to get 16 out of 20 answers correct. First thing we did was take the sensometric. Is that right?
Sensometric?
Something like that.
One of those.
Kind of like a left, right, feet, everything.
Hand-eye coordination, reaction time, hearing, which is kind of funny because you're not in a soundproof room and you can hear the music and the tiendas next door and the conversations out in front.
But we did it.
Doable.
Yeah, we did it. No problem.
Just
Got in, got out. Yeah, it's no problem. So we actually get the date to actually go for our test, and
no test.
We don't even get past the first line of gatekeeper.
It was an interesting experience because they're very particular about how you enter these things, and only people there can be in the front. Your facilitator has to sit away from you, and there's signs up saying denounce corruption. And I mean, if there's a sign up saying denounce corruption, it's a kind of an indicator of what's going on. And my theory on the corruption, can I share that?
Yeah, whatever you want.
Is that,
we do whatever we want here.
We say we want less corruption in the world. We want governments to be less corrupt. But, all these systems are made up of individuals. And as long as the individuals are complicit and willing to take advantage and capitalize on that corruption, it's never going to change. That was my theory post going in, was we can learn enough Spanish to do this.
Post going in?
Pre going in. No, because it changes.
After our experience, we got more pessimistic.
Yeah, because I didn't realize how the system doesn't want you to be of high integrity and unwilling to, because then the people involved don't get paid. Yes. And that became apparent as we were keeping there. Like this was the most unpleasant bureaucratic experience we've had since moving.
Yeah, and we've done things in Cuenca, Loja, and now this was in Ibarra. And it was bizarre, especially for a driver's license. Like anyone that's been in Ecuador and has seen how people drive here, there's a gap. There's a gap in the education and the experience of driving here. So I don't, there's hard to have any other explanation for what happened to us other than just flat out corruption. This person clearly was one of the people that would rather see us as legal immigrants in this country pay for a driver's license that surely they are participating in than go through the legal channels to receive a license.
Either that, she doesn't like foreigners, she was having a bad day. These are just our presumptions. And we don't know, well, based on the Google reviews that you looked at for that institution, like nobody's happy with how that system plays out. And that might be, I mean, who goes into the DMV and says, oh, that was such a great experience. But that's not unheard of in the States that you go in and things happen smoothly. But she was just the opposite of helpful, and you could feel it when you came in. She was going to do everything she could to not let us move forward.
Yeah, it was just bizarre. Because like we said, we've done stuff with the visas, we've done stuff with banking, we've done stuff with, utility companies and this, that, and the other. And there's always a little bit of something, it's always, the first time doing anything here is always a little trickier, but it was bizarre. And
our facilitator, this woman had looked over our paperwork several times. She sent our facilitator to the director. The director signed off on everything. She sent her back to the director. The director was like, why are you here? I've already signed off on this. And she still wouldn't accept Matt's paperwork. She accepted mine. And then the next thing I would have to do is take a form that she's supposed to print off and give me and then go pay. But she wouldn't give me the form. She said, oh no, I've uploaded it into the system and now you need to go home, print it out, and bring it back.
To the same place that you could pay right downstairs.
And our poor facilitator, she just has to take it because she has to interact with this woman all the time. So she's just like, okay, thank you very much. What are you going to do?
Right.
And that was not very much fun.
And a driver's license here is valid for 5 years. So even people that do purchase a driver's license and use it in 5 years' time, I don't know what happens because you would have to renew somehow. I don't know if you just buy another driver's license that's new and new number, or if you actually can revalidate a...
Because the renewal process is the same. You still have to take the sensometric test. You still have to take a written test. Like all those things apply. So maybe they're doing it every 5 years. I don't know. Something to think about. That.
That's driving tests here.
What are you going to do? That's part of, it's always a learning experience, and we still stick to our theoretically that we shared with you that first year. We get up in the morning, we're like, well, theoretically, this is what's going to happen. And sometimes it does, and it's like, oh, that was great. And sometimes it doesn't, and you say, well, we'll just have to keep showing up and try again. Persevere. So we are optimistic people. Most of the
still
time.
Cautiously optimistic, but optimistic still.
3 weeks later.
3 weeks later. So we were able to get our license, but we went to a different office and had a much more pleasant experience.
Sounds like the lady at the first place in Ibarra maybe just isn't a fan of gringos with facilitators. And we speak decent enough Spanish. We just thought it would be easier to go with a facilitator, but it was not. It was harder, but the Otavalo experience was great. Easy peasy.
And we passed first time.
We passed. And
of course, the power outages and cuts are still happening, and that's creating a lot of strife still. So keep Ecuador in your prayers in that regard. And next week is the election in the United States. And of course, we're all praying for a good outcome there as well. Power outages continue.
Yeah. This is, I was thinking about this earlier. We moved here like mid to late COVID, and going back, I would still do that again. You hear the terrible, awful headlines of security challenges in Ecuador. I would still move here with that. If I knew the rolling outages, they're up to 10 hours a day for blackouts.
In most areas.
That... and what comes after that will be water shortages.
Potable water, drinking water.
That would probably give me pause. And I hate to say that because so much of the economy relies on tourism and they want you to come, and at the same time, if they don't have any electricity to run their services, then
it's a bad situation.
yeah, it just seems like this beautiful little country has gotten hammered ever since the pandemic. With political issues and violence and cartels, and now a drought that they haven't seen in over 60 years.
And there's, lack of maintenance. There's other issues with infrastructure, but it is what it is right now.
Here we have the solar generator, we have the solar lights, we have means to an end, we have a water storage system. So it's like things are going to happen. You can prepare the best you can, and that's really all you can do. But you can't move down here and then be like, oh my God, there's no power. This is awful. This sucks. I had no idea. Like,
don't be one of those people.
You should have some idea, especially.
We're still sharing our experience here as expats, middle-aged expats, not being retired, trying to still work, still make some money so we can continue to live, and all that goes with that. We are still very grateful to be here in Ecuador. We still love living here in Ecuador. We still have had a great time here in Ecuador, even with the challenges that come here.
Yeah, the good far, far, far outweighs any kind of challenge for us so far. We finally found a living situation that we're really excited about. Like, I think I say how grateful I am to live here like 5 times a day.
It's nice to have a wall.
You'll learn so much about yourself if you have moved here or are thinking about moving here. Like, we're not apartment people. We're not urbanization people. We're not connected house people. We are independent housing people. And that's just not going to change. We tried. We tried. Sometimes we get comments on we shouldn't call ourselves expats. We should call ourselves immigrants. And we do know that we're immigrants, but if you are interested in this lifestyle and you put Ecuador immigrant into the algorithm or the search bar, you're going to pull up a whole different genre of...
Yeah, we get lost in that shuffle.
Yeah, so... And we're, like Matt said, we're super grateful to get to have this experience.
And considering the rest of the world and the way things are, even in the U.S. right now, I'm grateful to be here in Ecuador.
Our thoughts and prayers are with anybody moving through the political climate in the U.S. and coming up to voting, time to vote.
And everybody that's facing hardships after these hurricanes. It's just, the world is getting hammered everywhere right now, one way or the other. So you still got to be grateful. You got to find some gratitude. You got to find a way to make the best out of each day. It's just stay in the day, live one day at a time,
We saw Rob Bell at the Bijou in Knoxville, I don't know, several years ago, and his whole theme was on life is but a vapor. Like, it's here and then it's gone. It's good and then it's bad. So when it's good, you gotta enjoy it because you just don't know how long any of this is gonna last. So that's what we try to focus on and put our energy into, and when challenges come up, well, they won't last forever and we'll move through them.
No, it'll pass. And just do the best you can, Try to make somebody else's day better. Try to help somebody if you can. We don't need any more angry, negative people. We just don't. There's plenty of those people that, pray for them, help them any way you can.
And if you are one, we get that too. Like,
stop sending us
sometimes we
comments.
are that person. And then, something comes along that helps us to remember to look up and let things flow, and then we return to spreading goodness in the world.
Amen.
I think that's all.
Whoop, 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 whoop.
Flynns on the fly. Out.
Nothing.
Is there a good option for a good outcome? We hope so.
Beyond a meteor.